Hello and welcome to another edition of Brain Maths. On today's edition, we want to look at quadratic equation by factorization method. When we are asked to factorize quadratic equation, we'll be looking at the coefficients of x squared, the coefficients of x, and the constants. What we are going to be doing in this equation solution is that whatever happens to be the coefficient of x squared will be multiplied by the constant. Then we find the product of the two and then the factors of these products that will give us the sum of the b. Not forgetting that the general form of quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where the coefficient of x squared is a, the coefficient of x is b, and c represents the constant. So as you can see from the equations written on the board. So taking the first question, which is x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. The coefficient of x squared in this first equation is actually 1, but it's invisible. So 1 times 6, this 1 multiplied by this 6 is going to give us plus 6. 1 times plus 6, that is going to give us plus 6. So we are going to find the factors of 6 that when multiplied together will get 6, and when added together or subtract will get plus 5. So the products are 2 and 3. Then we also have 5 and 1. We can rewrite 2 and 3 to give us 5. We can also look at 5 and 1. If we add 5 and 1, we are going to get 6. But if we subtract, we are going to get 4. So meaning 2 and 3 are in the best position to be used. So how are we now going to rewrite our 2 and 3? What sign will you put in front of 2 and what sign will be in front of 3? So since we are coming back to plus 5, we first need to find the product 2 times 3 plus 2 times plus 3 will give us plus 6. And if we add these two together, plus 2 plus 3, we are still going to get plus 5. So in place of 5x, we are going to be writing 2x and 3x. So that is going to give us, don't forget that this one is an invisible one. I put it there so that we will remember our coefficients of x squared. So we are going to be having x squared plus 2x plus 3x, these two representing this 5 now, plus 6 equals 0. So solving further, if you look at these two, the common factor between them is x. If you take x from here, you'll be left with 1x. If you take x from plus 2x, you'll be left with 2. And if you look at 3x and 6, the common factor between them is plus 3. If you take plus 3 from here, you'll be having x left. And if you take 3 in 6, how many 3 can we get in 6? That is going to give us 2 equals 0. So what we have in the brackets are common. So you take x and plus 3. So we have x plus 3. And then you take one of these, x plus 2. All equals to 0. So we are solving to get the factors of x, the value of x rather. So we have x plus 3 equals 0, or x plus 2 equals 0. So if you take the constant outside, you have x minus 3. And if you do the same on the other side, you have x equals to minus 2. So x is minus 3 or minus 2. So that is that for the first question. So going to the second question, we have k squared plus 7k plus 10 equals 0. So the coefficient of x squared in the second question is also 1. So we have 1 times 1 times 10, which is going to give us 10. So the next is to find the products of 10. 10 times 1, 2 times 5. So which one of them can we rewrite to give us 7? Or which one can we multiply to give us 10? These two will give us 10. But how can we rewrite them to give us plus 7? Looking at 10 and 1, there is no way we will rewrite 10 and 1 to give us 7, either plus or minus. But 2 and 5 will give us 7. So what are we doing to 2 and 5 to get plus 7? We are going to be using plus 2 plus 5, and that is plus 7. So in place of plus 7k, we'll be writing plus 2k and plus 5k. So this leads to k squared plus 2k plus 5k plus 10 equals 0. So factoring, what is common to these two? We have k as a common factor. We are left with k plus 2. If you take k from here, you'll be left with 2. And plus, what is common to these two? 5. If you take 5 from here, you'll be left with k. And if you take 5 from 10, you will have 2 of 5, which is equals to 0. This and this collected together, we have k plus 5. And taking one of these, we have k plus 2 equals 0. So we have k plus 5 equals 0, or k plus 2 equals 0. So if plus 5 goes outside, it becomes minus 5, or when plus 2 also goes outside, it becomes minus 2. And that is the solution to question number 2. Now, looking at question number 3, you will see that question number 1 are having unity coefficients of x squared. They have only one factor. But if you look at question number 3 and question number 4, the coefficients of x squares are actually there. So in this case, don't forget what we have done in the previous one. We will be multiplying the coefficients of x squared and the constants together. So question number 3 now. Question number 3 says 6x squared minus 7x minus 5 equals 0. Multiply the 2, we have 6 times minus 5, which is minus 30. The next thing is to find the products of 30. They are 10 times 3, 15 times 2, 5 times 6. So, which one of them can we rewrite to get minus 7? 10 times 3, either minus 10 or plus 3 will give us minus 30. So how can we rewrite each one of these or any of these to get minus 7 and also minus 30? So if we take 15 and 2, it is not possible. 5 and 6 is also not possible. So let's come to 10 and 3. So how are we going to write 10 and 3 to give us minus 7? So we have minus 10 plus 3. Minus 10 times plus 3 will give us minus 30. And minus 10 plus 3 will lead us to minus 7. So we are going to be rewriting these two in place of minus 7. So we have 6x squared minus 10x plus 3x minus 5 equals 0. Now, one of the things we have to be very careful and be wary of is the arrangement of these numbers. In this kind of situation, it is better for us to pair numbers that can be easily divisible, or that is easily divisible by the other one. But still continuing with this one, we are still going to be able to solve the problem. So what is common to these two is the first thing we'll be looking at. X is common, and then 2 is common to the two of them. So we have 2x as the common factor. How many 2 can we get in this? 3. We are left with 1x. How many 2x can we get in this? We have 5. Then looking at these two, nothing is common to them but 1. 1 is common to the two of them. How many 1 can we get in this? We still have our 3x. And how many 1 can we get in that? We still have our minus 5, which is equal to 0. So we pair these two as 2x plus 1. And these two, we pick 1 as 3x minus 5 equals to 0. So solving out, we have 2x plus 1 equals 0, or 3x minus 5 equals 0. So we are going to factor out the constants. So we have 2x equals to minus 1. What is common to the 2? None. But we are looking for the value of x. So in that case, we are going to be dividing both sides by 2. And our x for the first side is going to be minus 1 over 2. Or 3x equals, when minus 5 goes outside, becomes plus 5. Then we divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 3. And our x on this side will be 5 over 3. Or how many 3 in this? 1, 1, 2 over 3. So our final answer will be x equals minus 1 over 2, or one odd number, 2 over 3. So looking at what we have done here, it is clear that the major thing we have to do firstly is to determine the product of the coefficients of x squared and the constant. When you determine that, you get the factors that will give you the products, and then look for ways to rewrite that product to give you the sum of b in the coefficients of x. Having done that, you factorize, and then you expand to the final solution, where you simplify for x. So we have done 3 questions out of 4. I'm going to leave you with question number 4 as your practice question. Try to solve it. Write your solution in the comment section. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please try to do so. Help us to send this video to as many places and as many schools as possible. Until I come your way next time, remain blessed and have a wonderful day.